What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the solid price spike of the day. We'll get to the stupid one later. Nightmare Griffin. Secret Rare is consistently going up, and luckily we have an easy access version of a rare out of Genesis Impact if you just want to have a copy to play with. But if you're going for the nice looking holo, it is nearing $10 for the first edition once again, and the unlims are even pushing 8. So being Flames of Destruction Secret first, I would probably just pay the couple more bucks and get a first edition right now if you are interested in having it. And here's why. With Fiend Smith, this ends up on inboards, but also already with Ubel, as well as even decks post info like Momento, this is going to be happening. You can watch DB Grinder's video to see this pop up. Memento definitely does get a good deal stronger with info, and I'm seeing prices for that go up, which we'll cover later in Market Watch. But you're able to also use cards like Inubel Muckraker to allow this to be in your main monster zone, to not give your opponent an arrow, and use its floodgate-like effect on top of its get stuff back effect. Special summon monsters cannot activate their effects unless they are linked. So, making your opponent have to go into links to get initial effects versus maybe starters they would be using to try to get going. It's pretty darn good as a floodgate to create problems, as well as then get other floodgates back to hurt your opponent. Now, the stupid buyout of the day, in my opinion, is Evil Twins Kisi Kill and Li Lun. Now, I know never to bet against the waifu tax, but there's plenty of other high rarity cards here, and the highest rarity, while low quantity, isn't exactly going too crazy. There's still one at 22 before it does jump towards 30, and there are some more recent-ish buys as the ultra rare has become less easy access. Now, why I call this stupid is it's history repeating itself to a bit of a degree. When this card has gotten bought out in the past, it's typically due to Ultimate Slayer, which seems to be the case here. Ultimate Slayer's easier access. Let's go get the targets for this card. Yeah, what's really happening with this card? Here's the quarter century secret rare. Nothing but a downward spiral for the most part, and you can get it around $8, which is cheaper than the secret rare was sitting at. It's not like this has a huge high demand. Now, with this, you end up sending Trouble Sunny, which again isn't doing anything too crazy. It's a little up, but then Trouble Sunny is able to banish itself from the graveyard, send an evil twin monster from your hand, deck, or face-up field to the graveyard, and send one card on the field to the graveyard. So that send is kind of nice, and then this is the most playable one, yet still a pretty big brick in my opinion. And in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, you tribute 2 link monsters to special summon it from the graveyard. I feel like at this point you're probably able to do more with those 2 link monsters than the following effect of this card. Special summon, you can activate this effect if your opponent controls 3 or more cards. They must send cards to the graveyard so they control 2 cards. So yeah, it helps wipe a board depending on the situation, or force a negate after already having to deal with a pop. It seems pretty darn good on paper, except the fact that all of this comes from Ultimate Slay, which not a ton of people are going with right now. But hey, if you are, let me know what you think about this buyout. It just goes opposite of the actual usage rate right now. I feel like if you're investing in the future, maybe seeing something come around the corner, sure, but this is probably one of the most overhyped cards in Yu-Gi-Oh history at this point. Gradle Dragon for Ice Barriers is getting bought out. That's an interesting one to me. I believe this only has the one printing, Gradle Dragon, and it is going up. Ice Barriers got more support coming, and here it goes. When this card synchro summoned, you can target cards your opponent control up to the number of water monsters used for the synchro summon this card, destroy them. If this card's destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, kind of nice that it can be your own card effect. You can target one other water monster in the graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated, so it's able to still extend past when it goes down, as well as be able to pop parts of your opponent's board. It's an access tool. Six Samurais, you already knew this was coming with being my channel. I love Six Sams. There's so many different buyouts. Kizaru and Hatsume do not seem to have reprints at this point. They only took care of the Fuma Shuriken, and then you have other cards going crazy all over the place for samurais. If you're clicking, like, even the secret rare grandmasters are up like $20 for first editions. People are going for End for the end boards to go along with the new one. The supers out of Spirit Warriors for the blue and the red are going. I would also suggest maybe having access to Naturia Beast and the rarity that you like, because the deck makes it super easily, and while the samurais now have, you know, the My Buddy is a Shield effect for the new synchro that is really good, Naturia Beast being able to take spell after spell after spell is pretty darn nice, even at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, be aware, tons of 6 samurai buyouts all over the place. We can do more specifics later, like, and go into what I think about them in a future video, but, you know, we're gonna run out of time on this one, probably. Muckraker I was actually looking at, and it had a previous buyout on the OG version somewhat recently, but has only been coming back down from it, and is still very accessible. This might be because it has a prismatic secret rare from a 10 as a contender, even though people don't want to be buying the 25th. I still think this is an excellent penny stonk for the prismatic secret. People do like first ed OGs, you know, but this is a comparative secret and I like the look of it. So be aware that this is actually back down when we're talking about the Nightmare Griffin and U-Bell deck like stuff version of it. But yeah, it's interesting that it actually did spike. I missed that spike, and then it just came right back down. Definitely a decent card to have access to, and down in price for the version you want, go for it. Rarity Collection 2 is mostly all down. I see Ghost Ogre, you know, the Ghost Girls I did point out as cards that people might want to make collections of. It's doing a little barrel roll up and down in price. Currently, you can still get it for that down in price, but it does quickly go up on this page. It's one of the only things really moving fast on 25th anniversary collection. Everything else is stabilizing, continuing to go down. In fact, there's a lot of talk on Twitter about Apollosa getting banned at some point. Jeff Jones has brought it up multiple times. You usually see somewhere in the future, but the timing's not always right. It is a card that could end up there. It is seeing more play, and it does seem like Konami's done selling it at this point, but I feel like they should probably drag their heels with that a while longer. But it's an interesting conversation nonetheless. Rarity Collection 1, I know I've sounded like a broken record over and over. You should be looking at the cards from your Rarity Collection 2, even if not successful, it's gonna be... I know. I've said it plenty, but it's continuing to happen. Infinite Impermanence is continuing to come back up towards record pricing. It's still a $100 triple-digit card at this point, but also Called by the Grave going full buyout mode here to where the graph is messed up. If you look at that, click the 1 month, you see it's up towards 40, except the lowest listings are now 47, 48, with sales at the 46 and even $50-ish mark in the recent solds. So people are definitely going back and just picking up a lot of these cards, and many of them are starting to head towards like their max pricing. Like Lightning Storm is nothing but up over the last 3 months and is around $32 at this point. For the buyouts that happened for the U-Bell reveal, things have already calmed down. Maybe a memory to not shop with FOMO and shop with your head a bit. This was crazy to watch how fast it had spiked up towards, you know, 60, tons of sales here at 50, and then yeah, already available back towards 41. They are low feedback sellers, but, you know, top feedback sellers still under 45 at this point versus that 60, oh my gosh, moment that happened. Yeah, it came back down pretty darn fast. And the Nightmare Throne quarter century secret rare is trying to hang on to 200, but I think we'll see it towards 180 very quickly as well. Future Silence is up. It is a searcher for anything with Shining Sarcophagus. I know we got the Summon Skull card coming in battles, which is very interesting. So this only gets a little bit stronger, but it's been consistently just continuing to spike up. Now $54 lowest when you could have been buying it around 36. I did say that I thought this is modern collectible, and remember, the Megatins only go up to what, Age of Overlord, I think, for the new 10s that will be coming. So this and Phantom Nightmare aren't going to have reprints there, most likely, unless Konami throws a huge curveball, and I don't think they will, but you never know what Konami will do. So these won't be reprinted for some time, maybe to the point where, like, they are already in 25th, like, what danger is there of different rarities coming out versus them? And modern little Yugi cards, I do think it adds a lot to this actual booster box itself. Time-tearing Morganite. We saw Morganite number 2 come out, which will also help you grab this. It's just really up in sales, even though it's not crazily up in price, but it's still available around that $4 to $5 mark plenty of times right now, so it's not like it's spiked, but be aware, the sales for this are mad up over the last 2 days, and people are going back and grabbing them. Finally, Momento, which we did talk about towards the start of this video. Collect Rare Ange is way up. It is going towards the top of the Mementos, which Waifu Tax usually wins. It was impressive Dark Blade held on for so long. And then you do see that the Ultra Rare 6-9 listings has been coming back up pretty consistently, and people are really enjoying this deck on Master Duel, which translates to real sales a lot of the time. I run into this on the ladder so much. Like, people are having fun with it, playing it, and it's only going to get better from here. So when we see info, it'll be interesting to see if the WCQ actually sees a shakeup from it, but be aware, again, Nightmare Griffin for multiple decks, and it's interesting to watch the actual prices of the Memento cards as well. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversations, and look around. Starting to pay attention to a lot more gameplay as we get in the WCQ season, and we'll be back to streaming the 28th. Be sure to make it. I might start a little earlier than 7 Central. We'll have to see how the night goes, though.